coming into Functional Friday. I think this might be one of the best interviews I've had to date. At least it was the most exciting getting ready for this interview. Kristen Brokaw, she is the founder of SLIIM. And we're going to talk about exactly what SLIIM is. But Kristen, tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Again, Kristen Brokaw. 2005, I was involved in a serious car accident. That accident took me as, from this college soccer player, always feeling healthy and vibrant, never having headaches, to being in chronic pain, honestly. And I thought, what's wrong? How can I feel better? My doctor says to me, you'll be fine. Or after a while, this is just how it's going to be. Sorry. Do you want an antidepressant? And I thought, is this really all there is? So after a year of searching for why I'm feeling in pain all the time, I am blessed to meet a provider who did functional medicine on me. And he got to my root cause and started peeling back the layers of the onion. And I loved that way of thinking, that mindset so much that I said, I have to go work in that industry. And that was over 12 years ago. And here I am now. I am a nutraceutical sales rep for Missouri for Orthomolecular Products, the best nutraceutical company on the planet. And I get to work with providers every day who are the kindest people. And I consult them on nutrition to use with their patients. And after my first year of doing that, working in the field for ortho, I realized providers need community. And I wanted to bring them together because I was that patient looking for answers and I didn't know where to go. And so I wanted to create a resource, a directory. That's what I did with SLIIM, for people just like me, so that they don't have to wonder how to get better.
Okay, so when you went to go work with ortho, you knew about functional medicine. What were you doing prior to that?
Selling office supplies. Hey, by the way, I am obsessed with pens. Pens are intimate. I still have a little obsession. So those are fun, but nutraceuticals are more fun.
So you come from a sales background, which then this wound up being a perfect fit for you. And you were already very familiar with functional medicine because that was what kind of helped you on the healing path. Back then, when you first started, how many functional medicine and integrative medicine doctors were there in the St. Louis area?
My territory, which also covered half of Illinois, did roughly, if I had to give you a number, I would say 200. But if I could just tell you in terms of sales, Missouri and Illinois, part of Illinois, I did $42,000 a month. Now I'm at like $200,000+ a month, and I've even split my territory a couple of times. So point is, it's growing. I cannot keep up with the demand.
So back then, there were about 200 practicing functional medicine doctors. Where are we at today in this area?
So I want to be super clear.
Okay.
There were not 200. I had 200 accounts.
Okay.
That does not mean functional medicine practitioners. That means doctors that were interested in using supplements or thinking a little outside of the box.
Okay, so let's
total practitioners that did functional medicine. Less than 10, probably less than 5.
Okay, I was going to say, when you said 200, I have a feeling that there were, so less than 5. And today, how many are there practicing? Just a guess. How many do you have on your website?
Oh, we have about 35 or so. I would say there's many that are not on the website. And hey, if you're listening to this, you need to get on the website,
right,
on the directory so people can find you. But I would say that do some type of functional medicine in St. Louis or even in Missouri. I bet we're at 75, maybe a little less, maybe somewhere around there. Like I said, they do some form.
I was going to say, I think that's pretty accurate. The full functional medicine is somebody who goes above and beyond their credentials to go into the functional side, where food plays a huge component and the supplementation plays a huge component in the healing process.
Functional medicine means taking a systems approach to healing, understanding that the body works as a system, so that if you are just looking at someone's heart, you then look at, oh, you also have diabetes, though those two things are not the same. A functional medicine provider does not look at it like that. They say, I can treat your entire body because I realize you're one whole person.
So one of the reasons I wanted to have you as a guest on here, because we typically are talking to the functional medicine doctors about specific ailments. However, we have people walking in our doors and messages coming our way almost on a daily basis. How can I find a functional medicine doctor that can help me with this? How can I help them with all of this other stuff? So Symbol has created a resource page and partnered with SLIIM as part of this resource that allows people easy access to go click a button, start looking at the doctors, and identify who it is that they want to reach out to. So let's talk a little bit about some of the doctors that you're connected with who are part of the SLIIM program that people may not even have on their radar.
I'm so blessed. I get to work with the kindest people in the world. These providers are taking time and money and their time away from their family to get this extraneous education on how to find root cause for their patients. So I first want to give them props for doing that, because they could just do the standard, continuing education stuff that's mandated and totally doesn't light them up. These providers come together that are in my group. Typically, we 4 times a year, and we meet and we discuss disease states from an integrative standpoint. And these are all different specialties. But remember, because everybody looks at the body as a whole, kind of doesn't matter what you do, as long as you understand the body works as a system. And I have a cardiologist in the group. We've got OB-GYNs. We have GI doctors and dentists and rheumatologists. I mean, you name it. They're more regenerative medicine. And one thing that they all share is that there's a root cause, and they keep asking the question, but why? Okay, but why that? And then why? And they try to go back to the most basic of probably the gut, or, heal your gut, heal your body.
Well, and you have been a resource to me, because when we started these Functional Fridays, we wanted to make sure that these doctors or the professionals that we're bringing on were vetted. And so I've reached out to you with a couple of them and just said, okay, Kristen, this person's wanting to be interviewed. Give me the lowdown. So I guess as if you are a viewer watching this, I want you to understand and know that there is a team behind all of these interviews that are coming to you. It isn't just somebody that we're pulling in and having an interview with. We are making sure that these are the top-notch practitioners in the St. Louis market, and we're expanding out from there as well. So tell us about your vision for SLIIM. What are because you've talked about the directory, but you're also doing masterminds with these practitioners. You're going outside of the box than what I think most doctors would ever even dream of doing on a business level. So talk about that.
My vision for SLIIM always was to create a space for doctors to come together and share ideas, network, have a like-minded referral network, discuss disease states from an integrative standpoint. But where my main motivation was also so that people like me weren't clueless. And because I have a full-time job and I'm getting out there and seeing all these providers, it's kind of just remained a database. Well, over the last 3 years, I've had my next personal journey. I was in a car accident in 2005, but I've recently had a mold exposure 3 years ago. And that has then sent me to the next level of what do I need to do? How do I need to be a better connector for providers and essentially juice up the SLIIM directory? So we're going to be adding things to it like videos and getting to know the providers even deeper that are going to be part of their profile. We're going to be I offer 4 times a year. I do a dinner with the providers, but we have a mastermind that's been going for the last year for providers, certain providers. It's ones that go, I want to think differently. I want to be the best. I know it's not just more information, that if I just get as much information, I'm going to be better. It's that they're really personally developing and understanding how to reach more people. So that's mainly what the mastermind does. And I think you and I, Becky, I mean, we're going to be doing things together in the future, aren't we? We don't even know what we're cooking up. But
it is, I will say, and this is what we've talked about, where we bested in this year was about collaboration and connections. It is impossible to make massive change by yourself. And that's where we're in alignment, is making this functional medicine, integrative medicine, the way people view healing their bodies differently than what it is that we're used to in Western medicine. It's not about just getting that prescription and going and getting that filled. It's about diving in, taking ownership of your own health, first of all, and demanding that a doctor start digging in and finding the core cause of where things are broken down at. And we see it. The patients are getting frustrated, and the doctors, if they don't start moving in this direction of educating on food being a component, supplementation being a component, there's always going to be a need for that, but more and more are saying, I want somebody who can get to the core cause of where it starts from. So this is fun and exciting. And you're going to be hosting your SLIIM dinners here at the Kirkwood's Symbol location.
Uh-huh.
And Symbol has started becoming a resource and location for a lot of doctors coming together to get more continuing education. We did one of those last night with Dr. Olivia and Emily with Metagenics last night. So it is fun collaborating with you.
Yes,
Let's talk a little bit more about, I've mentioned it on here. I'm going to ask you this question first. What are you finding is the struggle that doctors are talking about when it comes to healthcare and being a functional medicine practitioner?
Great question. The doctors as well sometimes always, not to say that they don't know, but they're on this journey, because in every provider's defense, they weren't taught this in school, right? So they have to go out now and seek this information. So they're doing that. That also then requires a longer conversation with the patient. Patients all want to use their insurance, or at least lots of patients want to use their insurance. And that's not a sustainable model for a lot of providers. Just so everyone is clear. If you have providers that don't take insurance, hallelujah. There is a reason why they've invested tons of money, time, energy in their education to then spend more time with you, because this is a more difficult concept to explain. It's not a pill for every ill, right? So that's what we need to support, are the providers that are taking the time. I mean, we can also support people that take insurance. That's perfectly awesome too. Just respect the providers for their choice and how they want to deliver their message to the patients. And because they need to get this message out to as many people as possible, group visits are becoming really popular. I am actually helping a lot of my providers do this, but the idea of group, the one to many, and there's the community and the connection that is missing in medicine. I mean, think about it, Becky. If you had an issue back in the day, like you didn't know what you know now, or I'm thinking about myself when I was in that car accident, and if I would have been in a group with a bunch of other people that felt like I did, I wouldn't have felt so alone. Yeah. That was all I felt, was alone, right? And so that's really becoming popular.
I explain it like this. Insurance is not to ensure your health and longevity. Insurance is there in case something catastrophic happens, in case you break your leg. It is not there to find out and figure out necessarily how to have a longer and more sustainable life. It's no different than car insurance. Because your engine breaks down, or your tire, you need to replace your tires. Your car insurance doesn't cover that. Your car insurance is covering for when you have the accident that happens. And I think as somebody who is, I'm a business owner, we pay for our own insurance, and it's not cheap for a family of 4. I don't use it. There is nothing that I am using that health insurance for currently, because I in good health. My whole family is in good health. So every month I'm spending this, but then as the patient or as the person that wants to make sure that I'm still taking care of myself and I have functionability for longevity, I'm depleted. I don't have many more funds that I can then go put into acupuncture care, having my lab work done, the supplements that are needed. And that's where Americans are frustrated, is saying, hey, I don't want to have this expensive treatment that's going to end up causing my insurance to go up higher. I want to take care of myself so that doesn't happen. That's the frustration on the patient side.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about this movement that is starting to happen, and it's exciting. You brought it to my attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angela Lamb brought it to my attention. And then it's been like I've been talking about it to a few people, and I'm going, okay, what is this? Let's talk about it. What is the New Vision tour?
Right. I have been pals with James Maskell for several years. James is a visionary. I love that about James. And I always call him the male version of me. He is, except
you're way prettier.
Yeah.
Look at your hair.
He's taller and he speaks with a British accent. So
yes.
But I can try to do that, but I don't think it'll work. Anyway, he said, I want to help the people get health insurance that covers that stuff. And James created something called New Health, KNEW. And Angela's film, I sent him an excerpt from that film and I said, hey, James, I need you to help me promote this because I love Angela Lamb. By the way, Angela Lamb is a rock star who every doctor wishes they had a whole boatload of patients just like her. How many people say, I'm getting sick. I am going to change my life around and I'll make a movie about it. Not many. So she's amazing. So I sent him this excerpt and I said, hey, James, help me promote it. This girl's awesome. And he's doing this tour across the United States promoting New Health, this insurance plan that allows everyone who's in the plan to help pay for each other's. Everybody dips in each month and helps pay for each other's healthcare that would cover things like you were just saying, acupuncture and whatever we choose it to cover, not what the insurance company says.
Right.
And so James says, hey, why don't I come down to St. Louis and see you? And I said, bring your bus. I know someone who's got a movie we can show. I know someone who makes some really fabulous farm to table food. And bada bing, bada bang, September 18th, we're collaborating and letting the people and the providers to come together and do a movie viewing and listen about this insurance and eat some good food.
It's been, you and I talk back and forth and we go, okay, how can we get the providers and the patients all in the same room together? And you're saying providers don't really like to mingle with the patients. And I'm saying, and I know that, but the patients have questions for the providers, and it's all this back and forth kind of thing that goes on. And this is the opportunity I think we've been envisioning, and to bring all of this community together and rally around saying, we're ready for a change. Who's ready to be a part of it? So we're working out the details on everything still. But I will tell you, if you're watching this and you're interested in it, please go to mysymbol.com and make sure that you're in the newsletter, because that will be one of the very first areas that we start announcing it. And then also here on social media, we'll have an event created with more details as well. So that's exciting.
I know.
And you had sent me the message, and then and I have a meeting with Angela Lamb on Friday, next week Friday, because we were talking about doing some dinner and movie nights with her and the movie. And then all of this kind of happened, and she's like going, we've got a lot to talk about next Friday.
Yeah, I know. I contacted her. I said, I think I'm going to have to do a movie night with you, and I need to contact Becky about feeding us. And she goes, oh, well, we're set to talk. And I go, okay, well, I already knew. I was like, well, I'm going to force Becky to do it regardless. I knew you'd be on board. And then here we are. So we are trying our best, aren't we, Becky, to bring, like this is a labor of love.
Yeah.
I'm not paid for any of this. I don't get paid for SLIIM. And it's just been the best thing that's ever happened to me. The car accident was the best thing that happened to me. Getting exposed to mold is the best thing that ever happened to me. And it allows me to give back, because just living life like honky-dory and all that, that's boring. I'm out to right? Isn't it?
Okay, but I'm gonna say, you know what? I want to just live life for a little bit.
Well, sometimes I say that. Why couldn't I just be happy being
like give me 2 or 3 days off in the middle of the woods where I can just like not have to do anything right now.
We'll work on that. We'll get there.
But I will say, I think we're passionate about this movement and helping more and more people. And that's why it feels like we can't go camping in the woods for a couple of days, because there is so much to do to continue educating, connecting people, and bringing those resources into the St. Louis market.
Yeah.
So what do you, I just mentioned camping. I'm curious and interested. What do you like doing when you're not working?
I don't know.
I threw you up with that question.
I'm a workaholic. I was in Sedona on Monday. I went to the Grand Canyon just for a day and a half. Who does that? I guess I do, because I have to get back.
Did you go by yourself or did you go with somebody?
I went with my family, our brother and his family, but I love camping. I'm a mountain girl. Beach,
yeah, that's me.
I'm not a beach fan. I mean, like a lake or something, but I want to go up, not down or over. I don't know. So I think, and then what I love doing is, this is my new favorite thing. So it's kind of like working, as I am connecting with providers, even in a more intimate setting. I've created these things at my house called Wine Business and Connections, and I'm bringing doctors together in these small little intimate groups. So I love the providers. You love the people. See how this is a good salad?
I know.
And those have been honestly nourishing my soul. So if you say, what do you like to do when you're kind of as a hobby? It's connecting deeper with the people that I absolutely love.
Yeah, and I think I would probably say the same thing. I love that small group of intimate conversation that is stimulating. It really is about bringing forth change and awareness. And just, it's the connections. Being able to connect people is a huge component for me as well.
It's our God-given ability, right?
It is.
I can't get away from it.
Yeah, I know. And it is kind of funny when and we talk about this, and I'll say this just because you do these masterminds. So many people are walking around a little bit lost, trying to figure out what is their passion, what is their purpose. And the reality is you kind of have to play with things, and you're going to try this and you think that it's that. And then you're going to go try this and you think that it's that. And when you finally just align with it, everything just starts flowing, and it flows so easily, and you identify, oh, that's why I did that way back then. That's why I did this over here. And it kind of goes full circle. And when you hit the right component, it's like being on a bike on the mountains going downhill and you cannot stop.
Like I flipped over the handlebars a few weeks ago on that damn bike.
Just wear your helmet. Just wear your helmet, your goggles, knee pads, and elbow pads, because at some point you're probably going to fall off.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one thing I can guarantee you, failure. I can't guarantee you success, but I can guarantee you failure. And that's what we're doing. And I want to just give us props, because we're willing to fail. And failure is one way to look at it. I choose it as just lessons. So I'm constantly getting an education and willing to beta test and see what the providers need and keep asking. So I'm open to any feedback from the providers. You're open to feedback from the public. I mean, isn't that completely how you've morphed your menu?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when we look back, 6 years ago when we created, nothing as far as the menu has changed a whole lot. It's really very much what it was when we first opened up our doors. However, it's identified the people coming in with certain dietary needs. And when I say dietary needs, it wasn't because they were on a diet necessarily. It was because they were identifying that some food group was causing them illness. Mm-hmm. And when we honed in on that, and I will always be authentic and honest, in the restaurant industry, if you see this happening or customers coming in and they're saying this, your first immediate reaction is rolling your eyes, walking in the back and going, oh, another one of these, and but then you take, and that is the reality. I'm very honest with coming from that. But we took it a step further and we started asking questions. We didn't just roll our eyes, walk in the back and say, here's another order like this. We dove in and we started asking questions. We said, why? How did this happen? And our customers guided us in this direction. And when we started opening up more locations, we said, okay, Greg and I have all of this knowledge and information. Duplicate that with our employees, because I can't force 20 or 30 employees to now have this information. So that was when we color coded the menus, identified all of the ingredients. We are an open book. There are no hidden secrets. We don't have specialty or, secret sauces with hidden ingredients. Everything is open. Our restaurants are a community for people to gather and eat nourishing, wholesome food and feel safe doing it.
I'm so happy to hear you say I loved eating at your restaurant because I did feel like, my boyfriend always says, because he eats gluten and dairy, he's like, do you know how much spit you have consumed over the years with being a pain in the ass with how you order? And I'm like, oh, it's terrible. But you're right. I felt that way sometimes with going somewhere and be like, I can't have this and I can't have that. I've never felt that at Symbol. I'm so happy to eat there. Thank you.
Well, I will say, I hope nobody is truly any place out there. And I really don't think that happens. I do think the eye rolls will happen. Yes. I do think that but the intention for when we opened this really was a place where friends and family could eat together regardless of their dietary needs. And I feel like we have duplicated that in 3 locations, and hopefully someday Symbol will be a franchise scene all over the U.S. and maybe outside of there too. I'm just putting out my wishes and wants right now.
I am picking it up.
Thank you. Kristen, we're going to go ahead and wrap this interview up. I want to thank you for joining us on this. I know there are several people that made comments. I'm not a response to comments during interviews because I like to stay connected to who it is that I am talking with, to make sure that you get all of the information that is needed to you. Kristen, if you could, when we're finished with this interview, if you could go into the comments, just put SLIIM's website on there. So everybody has that as a resource. Again, mysymbol.com has a resource page with SLIIM on there as well as other resources. Please make sure that you are on our email list so that you are current and up to date on everything that it is that we have going on. I look forward to next Friday. I believe next Friday it's actually me interviewing Greg and talking a little bit more about our Symbol Success Meals and some of the things that we haven't had time to really talk to just each other on a public forum. So, Kristen, thank you. And I am excited to sit down and plan September 18th. We don't have much time, so we got to get to work.
Honest. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Bye.